Hey, what's up, boxers? This is Zach Rizzo with Buildbox. Just want to say thank you so much to all you boxers out there who submitted games in the first Game Jam of 2020, sponsored by Rogue Games. Unfortunately, because of everything that's going on around the world concerning the coronavirus, we were unable to do a live stream judging of the games. So we opted to do a Zoom video call instead. Thank you again to all you boxers out there who submitted games. We were so impressed with what you were able to create in such a short amount of time, and the Rogue Games judges were really impressed as well. Let's go ahead and hear what they had to say. Thank you all four of you for being here, the Rogue Games team. In the upper left-hand corner, we have Chris Archer, who's a studio head. In the upper right-hand corner, we have Matt Casamasina, who's the CSO. We have Levi Buchanan in the bottom left, who is a business development director, and then we've got Scott Prather, who is also another business development director. Thank you all four of you for coming and being a part of this. We're going to take a look at some of the games that came out of the Rogue Game Jam, and this should be a lot of fun.
Awesome. Great.
Cool. Okay, first game on the list is a game called Ball of Fire by developer Vlad Nuna. Let's go ahead and open this up and check it out.
They're using analog stick controls, sort of simulated, but it's on the right side of the screen. Traditionally, we would want that on the left side of the screen as we're playing, so what most people are used to, character control. And then I get the concept pretty quickly, right? You get in, pick up this ball, and you're basically playing this virtual dodgeball with your opponents.
It's really got a kind of an interest. I kind of like the idea of it. Yeah, it's pretty. It's,
yeah.
A few little things, and it becomes quite a fun product, I think.
Let's take a look at our next game, which is Table Polo, and this is a game by Govind Narayan, I believe is the pronunciation, and this is the Game App Studio that made this game. So let's take a look at Table Polo.
Yeah, I think if they make the area of interaction much bigger. Across the entire screen except for the icons that go into the menus, then I think this plays so much better.
Totally agree.
They did a great job of when you complete a level, though, they have the confetti fall from the sky. They obviously took the time to build it as a physical object because it's bouncing off the table. It's nice. I mean, I think they did a nice job with this.
One thing I'm looking forward to is kind of seeing the difficulty ramp up, maybe perhaps a little bit faster. You know, I'm already up to level 7, and I still have yet to kind of have any pushback in terms of challenge. I recognize that this is early, but what I can say is I like simple art direction. I like big bright colors that you know, kind of add to the kind of the intuitiveness of it. So that, to me, that's a big positive here is clean presentation and clean use of color.
Can I add another thing that I think is a good rule for anybody like getting into making games? Little touches like the lamp animating and kind of affecting the light. It is a nice little touch. You don't really notice it, but it does keep you interested kind of in the view, you know, while you're waiting for the ball to line up.
Fantastic feedback. Let's go ahead and take a look at our next game. The next game that we have on the list is a very fun game called Swamp Ski Jamboree. This is by developer Craig Frank from the Salty Seagull Software team name, which has got some great alliteration. So let's go ahead and check out this game.
You know, we were talking about presentation and detail, and I really like the voiceover work. You know, it's that kind of showing this early on in development that you're thinking about polish. It's giving a hint at what's going to be coming later as you get closer to a finished game.
Yeah, you know, hats off to for trying something that's a bit more ambitious in terms of gameplay. So, you know, it's kind of a traditional racer where you're picking up items. He's actually doing some more 3D than some of the other games are. Like he's texturing, for instance, which is pretty cool. At least some parts of the area.
Even though this is fairly, you know, hyper casual oriented, one thing I'd look forward to seeing in a future version of this is how you're going to kind of put some form of progress, you know, in terms of, you know, upgrading the boat or upgrading the rope or the skier. How are we gonna?
168, boys.
Oh, well then. I guess we don't need to add difficulty for Scott.
I've done this before.
MultiDunk was created by Andrii Klinchaian. Let's go ahead and check out MultiDunk.
I really dig this game, and I think the one thing that I was hoping to see in here and is that you can do the difference between 2-pointers and 3-pointers, depending on how high you are from the basket. So just one of those cool things that, it's not just about that one mechanic, like just tapping to slam the ball down. It matters when you take that risk of how high it is.
It feels very responsive. I like the screen shake when you're scooping
sure.
down in the hoop. I like the color shifts when you either succeed or fail. Well, it's really succeed. And I like that you can, for a game like this, you just want to be able to reboot and restart as quickly as possible, and you can do that.
This is one of those games that's perfect for haptics. Like perfect for like the screen shake and having some vibration on there. I know it's a little touch, but that's the kind of thing that like a little vibration on the phone will make a huge difference.
Right.
Keep a running tally for your game session. If you get up to 100 baskets, maybe you can get a WNBA ball or an ABA ball or a rubber ball or a tennis ball for that matter, or a bowling ball, and have those be different physics, or even just put a backboard on there and put different color backboards. Gives you an opportunity to not only monetize but also show off progression and keep players interested as they're moving forward. The idea of, hey, I can unlock a tennis ball if I get another 200 points, that's a pretty good driver for people.
So the next game on the list that we have is Stretch Hero, made by Batzolboo, Batzorig. Let's go ahead and let's check out this game, give some feedback.
Yeah, so actually this is one of my favorites. It first of all reminds me, in terms of character design, of this game that came out on mobile several years ago called Tofu. And it looks very similar to that. I like the simple mechanics of this. You just simply release to go up, and then you got to time everything.
They purposely are kind of being vague. I mean, like the idea of when you first start the game, there's a message at the bottom that says, yep, no tips. So they really kind of just force you like, hey, figure it out. One suggestion I have, and the guys on this call might disagree, I would prefer the legs to go out when the button is pressed as opposed to released. It makes the timing feel a little bit off, and if you're not really paying attention to it, you wouldn't really notice it. Most other endless climbers, the jump occurs at button press as opposed to release. It just makes the timing feel a little bit funky. Graphics look good. I like the screen moving around, kind of gives a little bit of a challenge, but this is a great one.
I think a couple things I would potentially look at is, one is it's very easy in this game to be reliant on two things to kind of save yourself. One is you can just hold the thing and just hold in place and really look ahead. I feel like you should only get to hold it for like a second, and then your character starts to slowly slide downward.
Ooh.
So you can't just hold there forever.
This is a game by Sebastien Pancrazi, and the team name is Viking Factory. So let's check out this game.
Right off the bat, I love how they give you a backstory. They're actually giving you a reason of why you're riding your hoverboard through a dungeon.
And they're clearly they're playing up the old road card there.
Yeah, and that is a great thing to do in a pitch. You are trying to find ways to connect with the person you're pitching to. You're trying to break through the noise, and to do any sort of personalization speaks volumes. Like, that is just a great bit of detail that will almost always be helpful to you in pitching.
There's a depth here that isn't in a lot of the games we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
You can not only swipe left and right to cut away in those directions, you can jump up, you can sort of butt stomp down, you can throw these balls.
When you throw them in any direction, right? It's not just...
That's right, yeah, and it's actually specific as well.
I do like the camera shifts to the left and right. I think that's a really nice touch. You know, look ups and look lefts and look rights. It's one of those little things where you're like, just showing off the 3D is really interesting.
Feels it has this kind of old school vibe, but it works really well in 3D.
So the next game on the list is a game called Headshot by developers Radu Popa and Vlad Popa.
It's cute, the characters are cute. The bird sounds and bouncing them off the birds, that's super cute. The referee kind of bounce back, I think that's really interesting and fun. I just think that there's just kind of like a cool, I can see this appealing pretty broadly, from youths to women and men, just because it's kind of got that sports combo.
Mm-hmm. In terms of progression, though, I will say, first of all, this game is super polished. It feels, I think, probably the most polished of all the games.
It's right there. It's definitely right there. Yeah.
And controls feel good. They've got sense of progression. Title screen, we like the icon. Everything is feeling really polished. And then when you get to this level of polish, that's when wave 2 of our dissection comes in, right? We're very discerning suddenly. And then the first thing that stands out to me is the level of progression, because as you advance through the levels, you start to notice that there's not a lot of change really. It's all very cute, it plays well, but I'm not really seeing that much difference between level and level. A couple different visual styles.
Next on the list is a Dribble Ball 3D, which was developed by Victor Tan, and his team name is Dark Sandwich.
Which is a great team name.
I do like that the menu is basically a playable, right? You can actually get the feel of the game or the feel of the controls without actually starting the game. It's almost like a little training mode. You don't know what might happen at this point. I love that they decided to do a little play on the text and actually do some animation around that too. So really interesting.
What's interesting, what's not explained, is that you don't need to go through the circles.
You can just duck into it and come right back out. Yeah.
You can duck out. I think you only get half the points when you do that. But
it's super responsive though, so you can actually control it really well once you get the hang of controlling it.
One thing that I think would be kind of fun to see, and I'm still in the basketball levels for right now, is if you accidentally touch spikes, it starts to let the air out of your ball, so you're not instantly killed. The ball starts to get slower or wobbly, and you have it's harder to control it. I think there's a lot of fun stuff you can do with that.
It also does dynamically change, which I think is really smart. So as I lose more, it actually gives, I don't know if this is true or not, or if I'm just imagining it. It actually seems to be giving me more shields to be able to help me get through the levels.
Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and we'll finish off. We'll do our last game of the day, which is a game called Wacky Golf by Al Cox.
Right off the bat, the thing that strikes me here is, you can tell this is going to be kind of like a miniature golf style game. It almost looks like it's set in the Mushroom Kingdom with some of these pipes. These type of games, I have a special place in my heart, and this could be one of the games that becomes one of my favorite games. I think in its current state, it's too early to tell, right? Mm-hmm. And so there are a lot of things in here that I think need to be addressed before this becomes something that I would play on a regular basis. It feels good once you get the controls down. I can see this being a lot of fun once design and balance come together. But for me, at least, it's still very early, and there are a lot of frustrations involved with an early demo like this.
I've had entirely too many levels that have started with me being unable to see the warp pipe or the goal at the end. But one thing I want to say to the developer here is, it may sound like we've been kind of ultra critical right out of the gate, and that's because we see how much promise there is in this mechanic and this concept. It kind of goes back to something I was saying earlier. The worst thing that you can ever hear is, yeah, it's okay, it's fine. No, I think the reason why you're hearing all these comments, and maybe they do sound a lot like criticism, is that because all of us are like, there is something here. Now, how do we clear the way so that that mechanic gets dialed in, and then we can build on top of that. So I just want you to know that the reason you're hearing all this is because what you've built has the start of something really special. Yeah. For these first few stages, grab the trajectory line from Angry Birds. So that someone can just immediately understand, I pull back, it flings, at this exact trajectory. Just grab
exactly
the
right.
First couple levels,
Feel completely. It would be good for the Fatui just to sort of understand your onboarding. How much power do I need to apply, and how far will it go? Do that for 3 or 4 levels. Give people a taste and have them understand how the ball physics work, and then take away those indicators so that they can do it on their own.
Concept is really fun. I think stick with it, keep running with it. And I think it's a great idea. Like you mentioned earlier, it seems like we're being kind of harsh on it. It's because we think, hey, you've got something here. You just got to dig a little bit deeper. You got to just dig a little bit under the surface and then polish those corners. And I think you've got something here that could be really fun.
So, Chris, you want to go ahead and lead us off and give us your final words?
Yeah, sure, no problem. Really had a lot of fun with the games. Just a really pretty amazing cross section. You expect when you do kind of like sports category, you're just going to see a lot of one thing. I thought people really dove into kind of like breaking the mold a little bit. We saw dungeon games with sports apparatus, and we saw with, you know, hoverboards, and we saw, you know, all kinds of different sports apparatus in each game that really wanted to try to kind of appeal to a lot of people. And I think that that's a really good thing. And we had a lot of fun with it. There were a couple of standouts. And I'm sure Matt will repeat this, but you know, some stuff just looked really nicely polished, and they did a really good job. Everything could have a shot, you know, like there wasn't anything that we looked at today that with a little bit of tuning and tweaking couldn't make it onto the App Store, no question.
Awesome. Okay, great. Matt, you want to say a few words?
Yeah, I agree. I was really impressed with the overall lineup. I thought, you know, these guys don't have a lot of time, first of all, to come up with these concepts and games. It's not like we gave them 6 months. And I think we got a really solid lineup of games, a diverse lineup of games too, right? I don't think any two games played the same. We're seeing a lot of differentiators. To me, there were a few of the portfolio today that really stood out and showed a really high level of polish. Some really, I think, innovative and cool gameplay ideas. And a couple in particular felt like they would be on the App Store or Google Play Store right now, and I wouldn't bat an eye. So, well, hats off to everyone, number one, for taking part in this. I think all of us would agree that even when we're leveling criticism, it's all coming from a good place, and we, you know, we wouldn't even bother if we didn't think that these games could be in a state where we would be interested at some point. So, again, kudos to everyone for participating, and I can't wait to see who wins.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Matt. Okay, Levi, you want to go ahead and give us a few words?
Sure thing. So, have to mirror what Matt said, is that I hope everyone understands that comments and criticism don't come from any place but a desire to see these incredible concepts and these incredible mechanics be polished and be the best that they can be, so that they can be the hits they deserve to be on the store. And the other thing I just want to say is, you know, from being on this side of the table, being, you know, on the publishing side, is it really is a genuine honor, and it is a privilege to play the games that you make. You are putting your passion, your creativity, your time, your energy, so much of yourselves into these games, and it is not taken lightly from us. Like I said, it is a genuine privilege to be able to play your games. I thank everybody for participating in this, and I can't wait to see which game or which games, you know, end up one day being on the store.
Great. Thank you so much, Levi. All right, Scott, why don't you go ahead and finish us off?
To mirror everybody else, first of all, thank you for everybody who contributed in the Popa project. It's mind-boggling how quickly and the level of quality you guys are able to hit in such a short period of time, with some really, really, really super creative ideas, stuff we haven't seen before. So first of all, just congratulations to everybody who contributed in the Popa project. That alone separates you from a huge number of people who downloaded, started, and just couldn't get it across the finish line. So first of all, congratulations. Second, I mean, to mirror what the other guys said, the difference between a good game and a great game is the amount of polish. That separates, you know, two. You can go and look for match 3 games, and they're down a dozen. The ones that really stand out are successful. They have an enormous amount of polish, and really, you know, the creativity of the developers shows through in that polish. So I'd encourage you, you know, when you think you're done with your project, go back, get a second set of eyeballs on it, or a third set, or a fifth set, or a 10th set. I almost guarantee you that every single person will have a different take on it. Take all those ideas in and put them all together and polish them up. That's how you come up with a really, really great game.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much. That was fantastic. Thank you, all 4 of you, for doing the judging today and joining us today. And Boxers, thank you so much for watching the video, and keep an eye out for the winners announcement next week. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.